We're testing some new drugstore makeup today, but we're going to start out with the Trader Joe's Daily Facial Sunscreen, Broad Spectrum SPF 40. This sunscreen is about $8 or $9, and it behaves almost exactly the same way as the Super Goop. If you know what I mean about the Super Goop, it's over $30. I actually purchased it once. I used it like 5 times and then I lost it. So really happy to have the Trader Joe's. Okay, so here I am applying Loreal Spackle Skin Perfecting, Hydrating, Moisturizing, Replenishing Primer. I will take a little while to really push that into my face. So what we're going to be testing today is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation. This is shade 202 Creamy Natural. I have no idea if it's going to match my face tone. But while my primer is drying, this is my Stila Correct and Conceal palette. This is not drugstore. This is high-end, and it is really nice. The formula is so creamy and pigmented, and it's just absolutely wonderful for concealing and correcting and under your eyes in certain places. It's just absolutely wonderful. So here I am gently applying peach colored color correcting concealer under my eyes before I apply my foundation. I have learned that the more gentle I am and the more time I take doing it, the application looks better. It causes less trauma to my eye, and by that I mean it doesn't continue to perpetuate the dark circles. The more pressure I use or the rougher I am around my eyes, it just seems like the blue, the darkness, the dark circles that I deal with just peek through anyway. So if you notice here, I have gone to a darker shade of concealer. This is orange. The blue under my eyes was being a little more stubborn than I thought, so I went ahead and mixed a little bit of orange. It has a counter effect on blue or the darker circles. So I went ahead and added that in there, and I'm just gently patting it and mixing it and just making sure that once I start putting my foundation over the top of it, that those things don't peek out. It's never 100%, but it's definitely better. And by the way, this Stila palette, if you can afford it, or if it's anywhere near your budget and you've got, your under eyes are crinkly and thin and things crease, this has been the most excellent palette. It's obviously not cheap. I got it at Ulta. It is a prestige line product, but it is excellent. So here I am color correcting my nose. You've heard me talk about my nose a few times, make fun of, I kind of self-deprecating humor about my quote prominent nose, but on top of that, it's very red. So I use green to counteract the red on my nose, and this is very effective. Okay, so yesterday I went to Walmart and I picked up some L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. Here I am doing a skin color test to see if it's a good match for my skin tone, and the more I blend it, I can't even see it. It seems like it does match my skin tone really well, but I also can tell that I'm gonna probably be using a little extra bronzer, but so far it looks pretty good going on. So here we are, we're testing this shade over my concealer under my eyes. If there is an area on my face where foundation is really going to be put to the test. It's going to be under my eyes and on my forehead, especially around my 11s between my eyebrows. So far, it looks like it's going on pretty smooth. Looks like it's blending really well. And I'm just going to work that in there gently. And I'm using as little amount as possible based on the testing I did the other day regarding how, makeup gets stuck and caked in our fine lines and wrinkles. So as you can see, I'm just using a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pat it in there and just sort of spread it out a little. Maybe use my hands for a minute before I grab a brush or a sponge. Here I'm picking up my It Cosmetics foundation brush. I don't know what number brush this is. It Cosmetics has amazing brushes. I know they're high end, and I feel like they're worth it if you really love a good makeup application. I highly recommend It Cosmetics brushes. So I'm just having another look here, seeing what's going on. I can see that there's some luminosity. My forehead looks pretty good. Not sinking in there too badly. So far, so good. Gonna pat it on in there a little more. Make it a little less so it's sitting on top of my skin. Just doing a few double checks around my eyes. Looks like I decided that my nose needed a little extra coverage, which doesn't surprise me. I did have quite a bit of concealer there and some things peeking on through. This is a this is a light to medium coverage foundation. It's not full coverage. It's light and I keep wanting to say sheer, but it's not sheer. It's just light. There are some areas of my face where I'm going to need more coverage than other places. So I don't mind patting on a little bit more. Using my beauty sponge here to pick up any excess that's sitting on top of the skin, doing a little extra airbrush sort of blending. Wet or damp beauty sponges work really well sort of for the finishing touches. Here it looks like I'm pointing out some areas that I'm still not happy with things peeking on through. So I will put on another coat or another layer of concealer over the top of my foundation. Here it is right here. It's this more cream colored, lovely Stila concealer. So it's just wonderful. And it'll usually hit the spot and take care of anything that still needs to be covered. Oh, looks like I'm still not happy with the coverage on my nose. Adding a little bit more product there. Patting it in. How we doing? This is me looking, thinking it over, deciding, having a close look, letting you have a look at what's going on. Just sort of contemplating whether it's good enough yet. I am not a makeup artist, but You know, if I'm going to record videos, I want them to look good. Okay, here we go. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. I got it yesterday at Walmart along with the foundation, and I wanted to pick it up. It was on clearance. It's probably going to be discontinued, but I tried it, and it's not bad. This is actually a nice concealer. It's not bad, but the area between my nose and my mouth, those areas, I need them to be as minimized as possible, and this just didn't cut it for me today. So you'll see here shortly how I managed to override that. I'm still trying to make it work, blending it out, hoping that I won't have to do something different. Okay, well, apparently I wasn't happy. When I'm watching the recording myself, it actually looks fine to me on camera or on the recording, but when I'm looking at it in the mirror and I'm looking through natural light, so I could still see too much darkness. So I pulled out, I pulled out some NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop Contour Concealer. I also bought this yesterday at Walmart. This is a very, very creamy, thick formula. I probably will never have to buy another concealer as long as I live. This thing is so thick and creamy and concentrated. So it is a better shade. It worked better for diminishing that area. To be honest, if I, had unlimited resources, my absolute favorite concealer is Shape Tape. There are sample sizes that you can buy that are way less expensive, and even the sample sizes there's enough product in there to last a very, very long time. So I believe this cost maybe $9, but if I were to have any concealer that I wanted, if I were going to have to continue to layer and blend, I would choose Shape Tape. But I don't have that here today. For the price and for what this was designed for, I think it actually did a pretty good job. Okay, I'm going to find out here real fast that I underestimated the concentration of this product, because under my eyes I got way too much and it was way too hard to blend. So I had to call in the big guns and do some mixing, which you'll see soon, but I was able to fix it. But I think that for a drugstore brand, it's excellent. It's thick, it's creamy, it covers well. It's the wrong shade for under my eyes. I put it under my eyes to brighten because it's part of my contouring, but this was actually way too light and I just put too much on there. So I'll fix it. I am still trying to tone this down. Lesson learned. Sometimes if you warm up the product with your hands or your fingers, you can tone it down a little bit. It was okay. There was way too much effort that had gone into this. It really shouldn't have been this hard. So I'm going to leave it alone for a minute. Going on in here with my face contour. You know the drill, so I'm going to go ahead and speed this one up. I still need to fix my under eyes. They're still not good. I'm not a professional makeup artist, and this is another one of the this is evidence of it right here. I have to play with things to find out what works best. So this is the learning curve, and apparently you guys get to go along on the ride with me. Oh, green concealer. You know where this is headed. Here's where I got creative and took a little bit of the foundation and mixed it with a little of my Stila concealer palette, mixed it up, and went on under those eyes. And I fixed that problem. The problem is, kind of a good news, bad news scenario, is that the consistency and the color that the mixture was wonderful. I almost feel like I want to do another video mixing those two products to see what kind of a full foundation it will create, because it turned out to be absolutely beautiful. I loved how this turned out. More mixing with the foundation and the concealer. Oh, I love this. I'm going to do a full face. I can't wait. Here I am going in with some lovely setting powder with a very, very light touch. This brush, I don't know what brush this is. I think it came in an Ipsy bag or something, but it's a very fluffy, fine brush, and it just has a very light touch. Nose contour time. This is so hard. I look forward to the day when I really know what I'm doing and I can just whip it on through there. But for now, it's very painstaking. I'm going to go ahead and partially edit this and speed it out and get on to the next thing. Also, I apologize for my face being cut off at the bottom. When I'm recording, I can see my whole face, but when I download it into the movie maker, it cuts things off. So I'll get that down pat one of these days. But in the meantime, I do apologize. Okay, time to get a hold of that powder so we can bake the sides of my nose. I pile on powder on that sponge and then I press it into the sides of my nose and other areas. And I leave it there for a couple minutes, work on something else, and come back and brush it off. It works really well. Oh, butter gloss. NYX butter gloss. This is the shade Madeleine. I love the way this makes my lips feel. I can't use very many lip products. They dry my lips out so badly that it defeats the whole purpose. But this one is awesome and it's less than $5. So way to go, NYX. Brushing off that baking powder off my face. Getting it all cleared out of there. And it leaves a really nice finish. Next up, Laura Geller's Baked Bronze and Brighten in Medium. This bronzer is so good. I got it on one of her Christmas specials a couple years ago, and I absolutely love this bronzer, especially if you've got lines and wrinkles. It is amazing. I also have her baked foundation as well. It's fantastic, but I highly recommend it if you can get your hands on it. It's amazing. Here we have Milani Blush. This is the color Luminoso. It's also a baked powder blush. It's gorgeous with the color that I'm going for my eyes today. So this is a beautiful blush. It's very luminescent. I love it. And I didn't have to buy it. Someone gave it to me, so I couldn't tell you what the cost is, but it's obviously a drugstore brand. Highly recommend. Love this blush.